When Boeing first introduced the 787 Dreamliner, it was hailed not merely as a new aircraft but as a groundbreaking leap forward in the evolution of commercial aviation. Marketed as the Dreamliner, the aircraft was designed to redefine the passenger experience/operational costs for airlines and lead the aviation industry into a new era of advanced aeronautical engineering. At the time, there was tremendous excitement, and for good reason. The 787 was the first large-scale commercial aircraft built primarily from carbon fiber reinforced composites, rather than the conventional aluminum structures that had dominated the skies for decades. This decision, while innovative, came with enormous expectations. Boeing promised not only a lighter and more fuel-efficient aircraft, but also one that offered superior comfort, reduced maintenance needs, and significantly lower emissions. It was, in every sense, marketed as a dream. The interior of the Dreamliner featured a host of improvements that immediately set it apart from traditional aircraft. Passengers experienced a quieter cabin, thanks to new noise-reducing engine nacelles and improved insulation. Cabin pressure was maintained at the equivalent of 6,000 feet in altitude, much lower than the usual 8,000 feet, making long-haul flights less taxing on the human body. The air was more humid, reducing the dry skin and eye irritation commonly experienced on transcontinental trips. The aircraft's windows were 30% larger than standard and featured electronic dimming, eliminating the need for physical shades and allowing passengers to tailor their lighting environment. From a comfort standpoint, the Dreamliner was an instant hit among passengers and airlines alike. But beneath this veneer of innovation, deeper structural and operational problems would soon emerge, ones that would challenge Boeing's credibility and shake the entire aviation sector. The first major sign that the Dreamliner might not live up to its glowing reputation came in 2013 when a series of incidents involving the aircraft's lithium-ion batteries led to the unprecedented grounding of the entire global fleet. These batteries, chosen for their lightweight and high energy capacity, began overheating and in some cases caught fire, even when the aircraft was not in operation. The situation was serious enough to prompt an urgent intervention by global aviation regulators, and for a time, the Dreamliner became a symbol of innovation gone awry. Although Boeing worked quickly to develop and implement fixating containment boxes and venting tubes, the damage to its reputation had already begun. Then came a series of production and quality control issues that only deepened the crisis. Since 2020, Boeing has repeatedly halted deliveries of the 787 due to structural flaws, particularly with the fuselage. These included gaps between sections of the aircraft that were either too wide or uneven, posing long-term risks of fatigue, cracks. In response, the company set up what came to be known as shadow factories, clandestine facilities operating outside Boeing's primary production sites. These were tasked with inspecting and reworking more than 120 Dreamliners that had been parked while Boeing tried to sort out its manufacturing woes. Critics argued that the mere existence of such facilities pointed to systemic failures in Boeing's mainline quality assurance processes. The problems didn't stop there. On March 20, 2025, the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration issued a new airworthiness directive that forced Boeing to investigate and address potential defects in the aircraft's forward pressure bulkhead, a critical structural element that keeps cabin pressure stable at cruising altitude. The FAA revealed that Boeing may have improperly installed fasteners, left unfilled gaps, and deviated from established manufacturing procedures in ways that could, over time, lead to serious structural failures. Though the FAA stopped short of grounding the aircraft again, it warned that if left unaddressed, these issues could eventually lead to dangerous fatigue cracks or even catastrophic failure. Airlines were instructed to conduct immediate inspections, with each check costing around $850 per aircraft. While that figure may seem modest, the broader impact on schedules, operations, and customer trust was substantial. Adding yet another layer of concern was a critical flaw discovered in the aircraft's communication system. Specifically, the VHF radios in the 787 were found to switch unpredictably between active and standby modes without any crew input. This seemingly minor software glitch had potentially dire consequences, as it could result in a total loss of communication between pilots and air traffic control. Although Boeing issued a software patch and the FAA solicited public comment on the matter, many industry insiders remained skeptical. Major customers like Qatar Airways reported that the issue persisted even after applying the patch, indicating that the underlying software architecture may be fundamentally flawed. Public sentiment mirrored this skepticism. In comments submitted to the FAA, some individuals expressed total distrust in Boeing, with one user stating, "I wouldn't fly on one of their planes if you paid me." These repeated missteps have exacted a heavy toll on Boeing, not just in terms of financial costs, but also in brand value, customer relationships, and public confidence. The Dreamliner, once Boeing's crown jewel, is now frequently cited in conversations about the company's decline. The aviation industry, long considered conservative and unforgiving when it comes to safety, has begun to look elsewhere. The Airbus A350, a direct competitor to the 787, has emerged as the preferred alternative for many airlines, praised for its reliability, operational efficiency, and fewer safety-related issues. The A350 has steadily gained market share in a highly competitive, post-pandemic environment. Airlines simply cannot afford to risk operational delays, unscheduled maintenance, or passenger mistrust. For them, reliability is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Internally, Boeing has faced mounting pressure to confront the deeper causes behind its growing list of failures. The company's decision in recent decades to prioritize financial metrics over engineering excellence has not gone unnoticed. Since the 1990s, Boeing has undergone a transformation in leadership philosophy, replacing experienced engineers at the helm with Wall Street executives focused on shareholder value. Critics argue that this shift has contributed to a culture in which speed, cost-cutting, and production targets overshadow safety and quality. The departure of CEO Dave Calhoun, announced last year, is widely viewed as a symbolic first step in an overdue reckoning. However, reshuffling leadership will not, by itself, solve the underlying problems. What Boeing faces now is not merely a technical crisis but an existential one. The Dreamliner's long list of defects, from battery fires and fuselage flaws to communication failures and bulkhead vulnerabilities, has exposed a culture where safety and reliability may have been compromised in favor of speed and profit. Industry experts agree that nothing short of a full-scale systemic overhaul will suffice. Boeing must rebuild its production processes, re-engage its engineering teams, and re-establish trust with regulators, customers, and passengers. This means not only fixing existing issues but also demonstrating a renewed commitment to excellence and transparency at every level of the organization. For the broader aviation industry, the Dreamliner saga serves as a stark reminder of how fragile trust can be. In a world where air travel is essential, the margin for error is razor-thin. Airlines and passengers need to believe that the aircraft they board are not just technically sound but rigorously tested, conscientiously built, and backed by a company whose first priority is safety. The Dreamliner was supposed to be the future of flight. Instead, it has become a case study in how even the most ambitious innovations can falter when execution is compromised. Looking ahead, Boeing's ability to recover will hinge on more than just public relations campaigns or regulatory compliance. It will depend on the company's willingness to return to its roots, to the core values of precision engineering, accountability, and integrity that once made it the gold standard of aerospace manufacturing. If Boeing fails to address the root causes of its systemic problems, the Dreamliner may come to symbolize not a dream fulfilled, but a cautionary tale about hubris, neglect, and the high cost of chasing profit at the expense of principle. The story of the Dreamliner is still unfolding, but unless Boeing takes bold, transformative action, its legacy may be written not in the skies it helped conquer, but in the trust it ultimately lost.